Peace and love. This is Brother Faheem, and you are now rocking with the Lead with Logic podcast. You know the vibes. Peace, peace. What's going on, y'all? This is Brother Faheem from the Lead with Logic podcast. Welcome back. Amen. It's been a minute since I've been in it, but I'm always trying to win it. So yeah, man. Welcome to the new podcast. This is something visual. I'm trying to do something a little bit different. Now you guys will be able to see the visual and hear the audio. So I have a super special guest. My first interview. This is my first interview on the podcast ever. So we are actually making history right here, right now. So I'm going to introduce her. So Quishawnda Taylor is her name. Let me bring her in. I'm gonna bring her in. I'm gonna bring her right on in. So Quishawnda Taylor, I call her Q, right? Inconsequential Q. That's what I call her. But she's a published author of a #1 best-selling, co-author of Get Up, God's Not Done With You Yet. Les Brown was one of the co-authors. It's amazing. Certified flow breathwork facilitator, detox healer, your go-to transformation guide, sole proprietor and owner of the Relentless Society and podcast, right? Host of Relentless Rants with Q. I love them. They're on Instagram. They're funny. They're insightful. They're beneficial. Y'all got to check them out. She's a medium, tarot reader, and my favorite, like I said, inconsequential Q. Y'all give it up. This is Q. What's going on, Q? How you doing?
You forgot mom. That's the most important.
You know what? I did forget. I forgot a few of them, right? So #1, she is a nurse, right? She's a nurse. But last but definitely not least, she is a mother, and a wonderful mother at that. So thank you.
Appreciate you.
How you doing, Q?
I'm doing good. Glad to be here. Thank you for having me.
Always. Listen, I met Q in a community, right? Deeper than the brand community. It's Nikki. She's I want to say she's a Puerto Rican sister from New York, and she helped Eric. Is it Eric Thomas Q? That's his name, right? Eric Thomas.
E.T., the hip hop preacher.
The hip hop preacher. She helped him out, and so of course she had some opens in her community at the end of last year, and man, I tell you, one of the best things of joining communities is meeting people and networking with like-minded people who are encouraging, and people who have things going for themselves. And that's the epitome. Q, you epitomize that. And we just connected, and we really kept up. And I love Q because Q is a person who is actually doing it. She can give you different methods.
You're making me blush.
No, it's the truth. I'm just stating observation.
Thank you. I appreciate you.
Stating observation. She gives you methods in different ways to to enhance yourself. And so, she's also a big fan of the Lead with Logic podcast, which is a plus. And so she's been helping me out, and she's one of those people. And so networking, that's how I got to meet Q. So yeah, Q. So how you been though? What's been up though, man?
I've been good. One, congrats to you for starting this new journey. Visuals are big.
Thank you.
Yeah. And I definitely would love, me personally, to see the man behind the magic, because I know there's a lot of work that goes into what you do. Being a person of color, I hate saying that, but being a person of color, there's a lot of things that goes on in the world that affects us. There's a lot of history that affects us to this day, and that's going to affect us for generations. That I personally, especially just doing what I do, my lane is my lane. Mm-hmm. I just don't have the time to do the research and inform myself and inform my kids. So when you have someone like you that's willing to do the work, not only do the work, but share the information and put together this type of content, is dope. It's well needed, because what do they say? If you want to hide something from someone, put it in a book.
Put it in a book.
Right. So, but you go in the books for it. You go in all the books. You dig them up. and you're giving us the tea. So thank you. I
Oh yeah.
appreciate you.
No, hey, what can I say? I appreciate you, Q. That's big. That's super big. Um, but I want my audience to really get acquainted with you. So I did a little bit of research about you. I saw some interviews that you did, and I saw where you were an only child. You talked about being an only child, Q, and I wanted to start it off getting a little bit of to your odyssey to breath work. So, what was your upbringing like, Q? Your family life and
All right.
memorable moments.
So I have to correct you because I've been getting a little bit of backlash from that. I'm not
Really?
the only child. I was raised the only
Oh,
child. My father has three other children, two biological and one stepdaughter. But we were
absolutely.
not raised in the same households.
Right, right.
Um, and we really didn't stay under the same roof like for overnight stays and things like that until maybe when I moved in with my dad. So I'm not the
Okay.
only child, but I'm my mother's only. I'm my
Your
mother's only.
mother. Okay, that's my bad because in one of the
No,
interviews you were like, I
I
was the
did
only
say
child.
that, and people were like, "You're not the only child. I thought you had a sister. I thought you had a brother." I'm like, "I do," but that was not my upbringing. So I just gotta correct that.
Oh wow. Oh wow. Well, hey, thank you. I saw where you said your mom was a nurse. So that really proves the point. Like we become what we see a lot of times, right? Because you went into nursing. Was it due to, your mom, you seeing your mom being nursing? Because I think you said she worked quite a bit. So how did you go about going into nursing? Did you know you wanted to be a nurse? Did you see her? What was that like?
No. So being around my grandmother, even though she wasn't an old person at the time, she was an older person. I just always had a love for old people. And I would go with my mom to work. Like back then, you could bring your kids to work. We didn't have so many rules and stipulations. I can go with her while she worked the floor, be in the dining room, hang out with the old people, braid their hair, dance for them, do other stuff. So it was probably like the only time I would see my mother in like a true position of authority, like just can I curse on here?
Yeah, of course.
Like
Yeah, hell yeah.
she was just like
Keep it real.
running shit, and I wasn't used to seeing my mother in that way, like being headstrong, being disciplined, being focused, taking charge. Even though she was the leader of our household, my mother kind of just had a very passive attitude about everything.
Right, right,
So
right.
seeing her in that light was just like, okay, my mom is that chick, my mom is that chick. Like, Nurse Taylor. People spoke so highly of her and looked up to her, but I did not want to be a nurse.
Mm.
I went to school for everything else. Everything
Oh,
else. I had got my GED when I was about 16 years old. So I think the major that I set myself up for to register for college was liberal arts, math, and science. I have no idea what that means to this day, but it sounded good. I know I paid the student loans back,
right.
but it sounded good, and I signed up for that. Then I always had like a desire to be an entrepreneur. Went to school for business, went to school for cosmetology because I can do hair, but it's one thing to do things for fun, but to actually have to do it.
Yeah.
And then I'm not one to not be good at something. So when there
Mhm.
were certain things that, because being an only child, you don't really have much competition. You don't
Right.
have, either you're not comparing yourself to anyone. It's just me. I'm just the greatest thing since sliced bread in my
Right.
world. So when I'm put in those settings to where I'm forced to have to try a little bit harder, it was just kind of like, all right, like I can't do that. I'm not going to do that. But fast forward, I had my son, and when I was pregnant with him, I had went to school for my CNA
Mhm.
because my mother, she just like always tell me one thing my mother could tell you was how to catch a bag, like how to set yourself up to do the right thing and get on the right track. I guess that's what I get it from. And I started that. That was a fail. Worked little odd jobs, and once I was pregnant with my second child, my daughter, my
Mhm.
12-year-old now, I went back for my CNA again, and because things expire, got my CNA again, got pregnant with my third child, and it was like I can't live off of this income.
Yeah.
I did CNA work for a while,
Yeah.
didn't like it because I'm too kind. So like when you're in that kind of setting, you have to be fast. Like everybody's just really a number, just a person on your list that you have to get up, get dressed, and get the day started. I'm a people person. I'm gonna talk to you. If you ask me to go get you a Snicker bar from the vending machine, I'm gonna go do that. I'm gonna run to, like I just was doing most.
Right, right.
So I did home care for a while. and went back to school to get my nursing license while I was pregnant with my third daughter. And I've been doing it for about the last 10 years. So no,
Wow.
I did everything under the sun but nursing. And it wasn't so much what I saw. I mean, we believe we can do what we see done.
Mm-hmm.
So had my mother probably been a doctor, I probably would have aimed for that too. But I was pressed with time, and I'm like, I have 3 mouths to feed. Like, this is not $17 an hour is not going to work.
Right,
And
right.
yeah, it was one of the best decisions I made. So
Yeah. Well, that is interesting. That's super interesting. I didn't know that. Q. Like you said, you work them odd jobs, and that'll do it too. That'll motivate the hell out of you. You know, you working 40 hours and you seeing that check and it's not adding up. If the math ain't math, and you like, yeah, we got to do something different, quick. Um, so that's cool. Now, I saw where you had mentioned like breath work and healing, right? It was something where you were saying, okay, I do breath work, but I'm also a healer, right? And so I was like, man, I'm gonna ask you, is that the same thing? Is like healing? Is that a part of the breath work, or is that something totally different that you do?
breath work is nothing more than a tool. So if you're a driver, it's just like, are you driving a truck? Are you driving a car? So breath work is just a tool to get yourself or your client to the destination that they're trying to get to. You can use anything. You can use yoga. It can be the gym. It can be EFT tapping. It can be crystals. It can be tarot. It can be a steam shop. It can be whatever. So it's just a tool.
Wow. So that gives me some insight. So really, breathwork is just a tool that you use, and tarot is just a tool that you use for the healing. Oh
Yes,
wow.
the goal is the same. I have always been. I've never really been good at escaping my head.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I can get very lost in my thoughts. So when everyone's like, meditate, be still, et cetera, et cetera, I just never really understood what that was. It didn't really make sense until I actually began practicing breath work and
Mm-hmm.
just focusing on the breath. And when you breathe intentionally, you tell your body how to feel, what to think, what to process. So
Mm-hmm.
when you're breathing in a calm state and your body is like, hey, I'm okay, like, there's no need to think about this or think about that. Like, breath work really just helps open up a different level of consciousness to, like, just go within and free yourself from thinking.
Okay.
Yeah.
So how'd you get into that, Q? Like, how'd you get into the breath work?
Oh man, it found me. I have been on a very long healing journey. It's funny because I had, how Facebook shows your memories.
Right,
So
right.
it had shown me a memory from 2014, and I had wrote, I'm going to embark on this spiritual journey again. I'm not going to listen to any secular music. So if you get in my car, you just going to rant. Like, so if you get in my car, don't ask me to turn on anything. So I've always been on a journey of seeking, like, to connect with the higher power, just trying to do the right thing. Even growing up with a Christian background, I was like either in it or I wasn't. I was not one of those people that went to church and then still go do X, Y, and Z and feel good about myself. Like, it's like, nope, I'm not having sex, I'm not drinking, I'm not smoking, I'm not doing this. And when you put those kind of restrictions on yourself, you're really setting yourself up for failure, because you're still human and you
That's
can't just
right.
go cold, you can't just go cold turkey at one time.
That's right.
But breathwork was the next level of my healing journey when I just kind of stepped away from traditional religion and was just exploring different healing modalities. Like, I've done the crystals, I've done the tarot, I've done working with the elements, astrology. I've done so much, and it was kind of like, it was more just like doing,
Mm-hmm.
and I wasn't being right. I might have been doing the things, but I wasn't really embodying it within myself, every cell in my body.
Yeah.
And somehow I found breathwork. Like, I found Chanel Sitar. She is dope, a dope teacher, a dope healer, a dope mentor. And she just really resonates with people of color. She resonated with me, females, any trigger pain point that a person could come from in a minority atmosphere. Like, she hits it. So I was just looking for, she just was saying all the right things. Like, I don't know if it's a marketing or just a divine alignment, but she was saying all the right things. And I'm like, okay, let me try this, because breath work. Who thinks like what the heck is breath work, right? Like you want me? I'm already breathing. And when I went inside that container, I just realized it was so much more. I was
Yeah,
definitely heavy into energy and the law of attraction, your vibration. But when you realize that, energy is truly like emotions, is truly energy in motion. And spirit, the original word for spirit is the breath. So we just overcomplicate things up, like people overcomplicate the simplest things, and it just literally is breathing, moving that energy around, consciously breathing. Then being with my nursing background, it definitely resonated because it aligns with your nervous system, your parasympathetic, your sympathetic, your fight
that's
and
right.
flight. So it's just all one, and it just was fascinating. So not only is it good for the healing arts, it's just good for regular day-to-day um nervous system regulation. So
That's cute. That's dope. And I bet your patients be like, once you heal them, they be super healthy because the way you just broke that down to where it aligns with not only your spirit, but it aligns with the body as well. So you can actually tap into both, right? You can heal the patient's body. You can help them. You have that nursing, but you can also explain it and make it mental as well, which is where how you feel dictates oftentimes, what you feel. You know what I'm saying? So that's dope, Q. Now that leads right into my next question. How has the healing work and the breath work, how has that enhanced your life? Like, because y'all don't know, like Q, she has done a lot of different events where she leads like 50 plus people, 100 plus people in breath work, and it's amazing. I'm gonna pull up your website here so people can take a look. But how has it really helped you though, Q? Like the breath work and the healing, how does it you know what I'm saying? Like the trauma that you talked about, or the couple things, the things in your life that you went through when you found the healing, when you found the breath work, what did it do for you?
breathwork helped me to recognize that um when I'm in certain situations, what feelings belong to me and what feelings belong to everyone around me. So
Mm,
the more that I dived into my own healing and started tapping into my gifts and empathy, and just started realizing why I never felt comfortable in certain social situations, just like even having a background of drinking and drug abuse and people pleasing and everything else. It's like now I understand why I didn't feel okay. It was never me, it was everything around me that I was picking up. So
wow.
now when I go into certain situations, certain even work, like I'm able to just like breathe. And if for a second I might begin to feel angry, it's like, why the heck do I feel angry? Just hold on, breathe. Does this belong to you? So I'm literally just sitting here breathing in, breathing out, telling my body I'm okay. You're okay. So why do you feel angry? What just happened? So it just really enhanced my self-awareness personally, um, where I'm able to just like again regulate my nervous system, regulate my energy, and just regain control of whatever is going on, around me. As far as clients and people that I work with, the sessions that you talk about that I lead,
Hmm.
it really is a healing session. So, like I told you, it's the tool. When I originally started out and was doing tarot and readings for people, it's kind of like I can tell people what's wrong and I can tell them how to solve it, and
Hmm.
what's going on with them. But again, how do they embody that?
Right,
People
right,
can
right,
only understand from its perception. Like they can
right,
only
right, right.
understand from what level they're on. And even if they may not understand it cognitively,
Hmm.
like they can feel it. So through the breath work, I take people through a quantum journey. I'm getting all
Hmm.
fancy. You do a
Con, look at
quantum
you.
journey within their own energy, and we go back to places, we go back to times, and we go back to feelings, and we address feelings, and we use the breath to tap in, to release that, to
Hmm.
release whatever feeling, whatever memory, and then go back and replace it with something that just feels good, that aligns with
Wow.
where you want to be.
Yo, that's like that's almost like on an empath level, Q. If you can feel the energy around you and then take control, that's super necessary. And I think that's something in our community, in the Black community, that's really not spoken of, and not even dealt with, that whole fight or flight. Because when you're in the inner city, man, certain environments aren't the healthiest environments. And so as children, you absolutely don't know how to mediate that and regulate it. I always tell my kids, like, man, whenever you feel yourself, just what you just said, Q, whenever you feel yourself feeling any emotion that you're uncomfortable with, the first thing you should do is stop and breathe. Breathe. Because when you get control of your heart, that will get you thinking, because you know when your emotions, when that fight or flight hits, you can't really think. Your everything becomes cloudy, and you just confirming that, Q. And that's dope that you helping people do that. Um, wow, wow. um, Something else I thought that you had said that really caught my ear, that was super profound, Q. I had never heard this, but it was so simple. It was just so profound. You said, I was always teachable, but I wasn't always coachable, right? You were speaking about, being in different communities, and, you being so self-sufficient for so long, like you got accustomed to being self-reliant. So when you enter in, and I'm the same way, right? I don't need to necessarily follow to get what I need to get out of this community. And so, but you said something. You said, man, I don't need to, I was always teachable, but I wasn't always coachable. Q, can you break that down? Because I think that that's super dope and super bomb. Can you break down like the differences of the two and why they're necessary? You know what I mean?
Okay, so I'm gonna just probably go into your lane a bit. Let's
Yeah,
just say we have Malcolm X and Martin Luther King, right? So people are
absolutely.
willing to hear and learn about what they did, the work they did, and how it applies to right now. That's
Hmm.
teaching, right? They're
Right.
learning.
That's right.
But are they ready to embody Martin and Malcolm like behavior?
Hmm.
That's the
Hmm.
coaching part. Like,
Yes.
can you really change your life and walk like them and trust in their vision that they have for us? No,
Right.
because people, they tap into Black consciousness, and that was part of my journey too. I became woke, quote unquote woke. And like, what is this? We're kings, we're queens, we had this going on, we had that going on, and then you become angry. So I'm just taking all this information, and that's not what it was about. It's just to be enlightened, and then you still have to act in love and light to move forward for a better day. So when I say teachable
Right.
and not coachable, it's like, yeah, you're learning, but like I would never listen to someone to listen to someone when they tell me what to do. Being, like you said, self-reliant. My parents never told me what to do. And when someone finally did, I rejected authority heavily. So it's like, okay, yeah, I know why I shouldn't be doing that. That's nice, but I don't have to listen to you. Right. And recently, it's so funny we talk about this, because recently I just realized that's just another form of resistance, right?
Hmm.
Because our body, our mind wants to keep us safe, period. Even if that means continue to do something that doesn't really serve our highest good. So when someone's teaching you and you're not listening, like you're not doing the things that they're telling you to do,
Hmm.
that's resistance, because your mind wants to keep you here because it's safe. It doesn't know what's beyond. It doesn't know what the next level of you enlightened looks like. It doesn't know if it's safe. Like, what happens? What if we fail? What if we get judged? What if people don't accept us? What if we lose our friends? What if we lose our family? All right. So resistance can show up in so many. Oh, it could even go back to, I already know that. Like, if you know
Right.
that, you already know that, what does that mean? Like,
Right.
you clearly don't know enough, because you haven't done anything with the information. So knowing isn't enough. You have to do the thing. You have to be it. You have to be coachable, not just teachable. Big difference.
Absolutely. So coachable, basically being, and I know it's a definition, but just from what you're saying, like coachable is actually embodying whatever the concept is, whatever you're trying to learn. Being coachable, you can teach something to somebody, and it's like, okay, I get the knowledge, I have that. But coachable is taking it to the next level. It's teaching it and then executing on it. That's what I'm getting from you, right?
Period.
Okay. Yes. 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 Um. Another thing that I love about Q, y'all, is her saying about self-reliance. She never really lets me, when we talk, she never really lets me not hold myself accountable. It's like, we talk about different communities and, being coachable in the communities. I didn't know, I can now put a term on it, Q, when we be talking, being coachable, but also not limiting yourself. And I appreciate that from you, Q. um could you tell us how you became um so self-reliable? I mean, I know you said that you were, you know, raised by yourself, but what were some examples where you had to rely on yourself? You know what I'm saying? Because you said, I had self limitations. I had limitations on myself. I was always self-reliable, but I didn't never really consider the self limitation. So how did you really learn how to shake the self limitations and really embody that self reliability? If that makes sense. That makes sense, Q.
Yeah, I get what you're saying. I'm still learning. I'm still learning. It's really, for me, it's always been out of survival mode, right?
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm,
Like my back against the wall, do or die.
mm-hmm,
Even when it comes down to doing that paper at the last minute,
mm-hmm.
like low key ADHD, right? But yeah, I just had to be. There was no other option.
Right,
Like,
right.
a lot of things that I had to find out and learn. We didn't have Google when we were growing up.
That's right.
Um, just really had to figure it out.
Yeah.
Yeah, just having to. I had no other option. I'm going to give you an example. I hope this doesn't offend your male viewers, but
Mm-mm.
when I when
It
I
won't.
when I first stepped into womanhood, like my mother didn't show me what to do with the thing. I know I saw her use it, and I put two and two together, and I figured it out. So still to this
Yeah.
day, we haven't had a conversation about what to do with the thing. So that's how I became self-sufficient. I had no other option. No one was willing to teach me. So when you have people around you that are supposed to guide you and supposed to tell you things, and then you get to a point, it's just kind of like that friend, like, why didn't you tell me I had a booger on my nose the whole time I was there? Like,
Exactly.
what kind of friend are
Exactly.
you, right?
Right. That's
So
right.
like when you get to a certain point and it's just like, damn, like nobody told me any of this. Nobody, like, people saw me drowning, people saw me struggling, like, did they even care? And now you get to a point where you actually are in spaces. Actually, now I'm actually a vibrational match for help because I'm such a helper, right?
Right. Right. Right.
Want to help me. It's like, what's your motive?
Yeah. Absolutely.
Why do you want to help me? I know why I want to help others, because I
Mm-hmm.
don't want you to be in a situation that I was in. But why do you want to help me?
Right.
So that feeling never goes away. That looking over your shoulder never goes away. What's in it for somebody else, and that self-reliance never goes away. I will still try to figure it out, even if I'm in a even sometimes if I'm in a coaching community, like even recently when I'm trying to take certain things to the next level, I'm
Mhm.
just navigating through new programs. And I'm like, Q, you just paid for a subscription to tell you how to do it. Why are you still trying to figure out how
Yeah.
to navigate? Go look at the module. Go
That's
watch the
right.
video you just
That's
paid
right.
for. So it's still a struggle. And again, it does not, it's very sneaky. Your subconscious is very sneaky. The higher, the more evolved you become, the
Mm-hmm.
trickier your subconscious becomes. The trickier those old patterns um
They're hard to
become.
shake. Yeah.
Yeah, right. It's hard to shake. So you have to always be two steps ahead. And sometimes you don't realize it until, like, you done wasted a year, you done wasted months, you done wasted minutes. Like, it's just like, dang, that's what that was. Like,
Yeah.
again. So it's always you versus you. Always.
Absolutely. And see, that's why I call it inconsequential Q, because, bringing my podcast back, it was a huge gap in there. And I was talking to Q the whole time. In fact, I believe, Q, I sent you some episodes. I believe I sent you an episode and you were like, dope, put it out. When you watched it, I sent you an episode. You was like, that's dope, just put it out. And I remember I was like making some excuses, and Q was like, it is of no consequence. You know what I'm saying? Like, you have to just do it and keep doing it, Faheem. That's all it is. So that's exactly what you're saying just now. I want to go back just a second, Q. I want to backtrack. The other question that I had was, you talked about there being barriers to self-limitations, that that you had built up. What were the barriers and how did you overcome them?
Still overcoming, because what barriers look like for me when I was 14, they don't look exactly the same, but it's the
Mhm.
same type of is the same
Same
type of,
concept.
yeah,
Yeah.
same concept.
Same concept.
Again, being self-aware, like taking a moment to just stop. I know I stop a lot more and have conversations with myself. Before it was kind of like, oh my gosh, you're so stupid, like, why are you doing this, and why would you do that? But now it's like, okay, why are you doing this? Like, how does this serve you? So it's constantly checking back in with myself, constantly tapping back into the breath,
Mhm.
even if I'm going to, because I trust no man, right? But even if I'm going to my cards and I'm like, all right, I need to have a conversation with spirit, I need to have a conversation with God. Boom, boom, boom. What's the answer to this? if I don't like the answer, or for some reason I don't feel like I understand what's being delivered to me,
Mm-hmm.
it's like, why is this not resonating? What
Mm-hmm.
is my expected outcome? Is it really not resonating with me? Do I really not know? Or does it not align with what I want to do? Does it require me to step out of my comfort zone? Is that why I'm not receiving the messages? Because I could ask for signs all day. Like, God, give
Mm-hmm.
me a sign. Boom, 222. Boom, 1111. Boom, you text me. Q, go do you. Boom, I see a sign. Q, go do you. What more do I need? It's me, right?
Absolutely.
Everything else is aligning with me. So it's like, okay, are you scared? Is this going to really harm you? And like you said, everything is inconsequential, and that's how I have to think about it. When I think back to my life and my childhood and what I've been
Mm-hmm.
through and what I overcame, and it's just like a lot of shit that I've done that
Mm-hmm.
people probably don't remember. Some things I don't remember,
Right.
and it's just like, who died? Nobody. So now here I am stepping into different spaces that can elevate my family, elevate me for
Mm-hmm.
generations to come.
Mm-hmm.
Now I want to be scared. Why?
Yeah.
Like,
Negative.
so yeah. So
Negative.
again,
Yeah.
always,
No.
always tapping back into myself. Always tapping back into the breath. I do a lot of breathing. I promise you, a lot of breathing. And it's like, you're okay. And it's
Yes.
like, and I give myself a lot of grace. I'm sorry,
Mm-hmm.
about
Mm-hmm. You
I give
good? Do you think?
I give myself a lot of grace because I am healing. It's not to beat up on yourself. When you get into these containers, let's just say in the personal development, not even the spiritual development. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
so the spiritual development realm, the healers, the coaches, the holistic coaches out there, they
Mm-hmm.
want to keep you constantly chasing something to heal when
Right.
you really just need to just go do the shit. Like, yeah, you might have some inner child healing you might be afraid to be seen because of what happened. You were rejected by your daddy, your mammy, your auntie, whatever. If somebody hurt you, yes, that's real. But you can't always heal that away. Like,
Right.
you can breathe. That's why I believe in breathwork so firmly, because you can breathe through that and you can
Mm-hmm.
just keep saying, I'm okay, I'm okay, I'm okay, I'm safe, as you're moving through the thing that you're terrorized about. But you
Mm-hmm.
can't just keep healing. You have to do it. You have to have some motion, energy, and motion. That you worry about the energy, but not worry about the actual motion, right? So
Absolutely.
when you're in a personal development realm
Mm-hmm.
with your coaches, like the Les Browns, the ETs, and the Tony Robinsons, is like, do. Wait a second. I have some shit that happened to me back in the day. Like, I'm not being lazy, right?
Right.
I'm not procrastinating because I'm terrified to be seen, because the last time I put myself out there, I was rejected. So
Right.
you have to find a balance, because they want to keep you over there just putting yourself into do mode, and then you
Mm-hmm.
possibly burn out, or you possibly not you feel like you're not doing enough,
Mm-hmm.
or you're just doing, and you're not taking time to see that that's not aligned with your purpose. That's not where you're supposed to be. You're not getting results because somewhere inside you're not listening to your body. It doesn't feel right because it's
Mm-hmm.
not for you. You're just doing it because someone's gassing you up into doing it. So
Right.
you have to find that balance between the mind, body, and spirit, because it's all important.
Man. Wow, Q. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. You gave me a whole lot right there. Q, I looked on, you know what? This is a good part of the show, y'all. We should pull Q's let's pull Q's website up so that we can go there. Let me see. And y'all bear with me. This is the kid's first time, on StreamYard. So let's see what we are going to do. We are going to, here we go. There we go.
What are you pulling up? Let me pull up. That's
I'm pulling.
yes.
Hey, I'm pulling up. Let me see. Hold on. Hold on. Let me see. Let's go. Can we go there? Is that it? Wait a minute. Wait a minute. Wait a minute. We'll go back here. Let's try this. There we go. All right. So, to the beautiful audience, this is Q's website. Y'all go check her out. And so let me just pull it up a little bit bigger for you guys. So I'm gonna start from the top up here, and it's the Relentless Society. get ready to level up. It's a whole vibe, right? I'm just reading,
A
and
whole vibe.
there she is. There she is, Quishawnda. And I was reading through this Q, and I said, "What did I see? What did I see? Where did I see it? Where did I see it?" I saw something like um 5 years of celibacy, Q, and I was like, "Man, that must give you some clarity, right?" Um, they say it's not the what, it's the why. So if that's not too personal, for me to ask the why. If it's too personal, Q, don't worry about it. But I just the why, because that's something when people, um, you know, it almost reminds me of fasting. When you fast, you deny yourself food so that you can get in a elevated plane. Now, food is one of those things that we as human beings need, right, to continue to go forward. The other thing is procreation. So whenever you deny yourself that, you should, or you would think that you would elevate into a higher spiritual plane. And I know that you are heavy in breath work and you are a healer. So I would ask the why. I was like, damn, the why, what's the why behind that? Like, what is Q? How is that empowering her? How is it helping her? That's what I wanted to know, or I wanted my audience to know.
Oh man. Originally there was no why. It was just an intuitive, spirit-led action, right? Just not
Mhm.
to do it. Opportunity didn't present itself, and I was not seeking the opportunity.
Right.
Was I felt like it's trying to store it on my phone. Sorry about that.
No, you good.
So you said one of the things we need is to eat and procreate. Another thing humans need is connection. We need to connect.
Yes.
We're social beings.
Yes.
And I had to like kind of look at myself, like, and I did enough procreating. I have 4 kids, and so much the fathers,
Mhm.
right? Because one dad he got killed on me. So and then the other
Mm.
2 situations they just didn't work out. But I had to like really look at myself and be like, why does this keep happening?
Right.
Right?
Right.
I had last son, he'll be 5 now in December. I had
Yes.
went through postpartum depression. Like it was bad. It was really bad.
Oh
And for the
wow.
first in a situationship with someone that wasn't as dysfunctional as
Mhm.
me,
Mhm.
and he didn't come from the same background as me. So it's like I'm being like rah rah rah, and he's just like mad chill. I mean, he does have some other narcissistic tendencies, but again, he wasn't matching my energy. In
Right.
the past, there were others that was matching my energy, so my behavior was warranted. And I'm like, yo, you're bugging. And then I remember after I had the baby, 2 weeks after I had the baby, I just remember being in the house all alone, feeling sad. I went back to work 2 weeks after having my kid, which was just like madness. So I was just like really in a dark place, a really bad place. And I wasn't dating. I was just really focused on like healing myself, like figuring out what the hell was going on with me, that I
Right.
was feeling sad. And I got on medication, told my GY and everything that was going on with everything that I was feeling. And just abstinence was just part of the process. And it just made me realize like, okay, like do I even like sex? Like once I got further along, it's like, is this even something I even really enjoy? Again, being the only child, and then my mother, I came from an abusive household. I'm not gonna just like point her, because she has things that she went through too that she
Absolutely.
to deal with, right?
Yep.
But being in
Absolutely.
that space, and the one person that I'm socializing with
Mhm.
just treated me like shit, and just needing other connections outside of that, it was just like sex was the way to connect. Sex was a way to be validated. Sex was a
Right.
way for someone to see me. So it's
Right.
like, did I just want to connect with these people, or did I really want to do that, or did I just really want some attention?
Mhm.
So I'm just listen. I'm reevaluating a lot of stuff. So I hope that I'm never forced to be in a position to actually talk about this, because people are gonna have their feelings hurt. But but it's not you, it's me, right? But yeah. So I'm just like really able to like, and then I used to drink. So it's like a lot of times there was never really any sexual interaction without alcohol until I get pregnant, and then it's just like, oh damn, like boom, we don't even really like each other. We don't really get
Yeah.
along. That's when when the woman's pregnant and she's getting her shit together for that 9 months and focusing on her and the baby, and the guy is just doing whatever. And I was just always processing emotions, and I just had a lot going on. So yes, I have received a lot of clarity about my journey and why I had certain connections and did things. Again, it's all about a journey of awakening, like, and just waking up. Every day is another wake up, right?
That's right.
But um it's also about, like, what do I really like? What do I truly desire? Because clearly I desired something, and I thought that was filling it. And clearly it didn't, because I'm still here seeking. So what is it I truly desire? Like, I can remember back to when I was little, I always remember feeling like a feeling in my stomach, like some type of a void. It was very weird. And once I really began embarking on that healing journey and had that solid connection with the creator, that void went away. It was never feeling that was even filled in church, because when you're in church, you kind of feel like there's someone, like, in between you, right? There's you got the pastor. So your pastor, your preacher, is the person that helps you connect to God. You have to go to the church to connect to God. But once I
Right.
was able to connect myself and see the signs around me, so I know that there was no mistaken, like,
Yes.
I was speaking to, like,
Yes.
I haven't felt that void in a very, very, very long time. And that is a void, a feeling that no man can feel, not just man, no human being could feel, not my kids, not anything. And that's not something that no man can even take away.
Absolutely. You sound like you, like we always talk offline, like you tapped into your feminine divinity, right? Once you got the knowledge of God, you got the knowledge of self and the knowledge of truth of others in relationship to the universe, to the truth of the universe. So that is awesome. Yeah. I think it really is just amazing because you hit on some super, super profound points. Like, do we even enjoy sex? I don't even think people really understand that that's like a spiritual exchange that we have. And yeah, I was once, I drank alcohol as well, and it adds a whole nother element to intercourse, right? But when you're sober and you have to be sober, you not only have to have an attraction, but you also have to say, do I really like this person? Like you said, is this person really somebody that I could see, minus the sex, take the sex away? Is this somebody who I can really just build with? And we don't have to get intimate. Do we, you know what I'm saying? Do we have a connection where we can build? You know what I mean? Like we can get high just building together and, having a good time and having some intellectual intercourse. But yeah, Q, that is crazy. Um Another thing, I want to talk about some current events with you, right? We're talking about we're gonna get into before we get off here, but we're gonna get into what you got going on. But I want to ask you about some current events. Um, the Alabama brawl. Everybody is talking about the Alabama brawl. Black Twitter was going crazy. um Instagram, yeah, they were going nuts, yo. I mean, they were all kind of memes. They were naming some of the people that was fighting. They called a little brother that swam Shaquille O'Neal. You know what I mean? They were. I was like, these people don't have nothing to do. But I really want to get your take on what you think about that. You know what I'm saying? Because you said you were in the woke community, as I was as well. I think that's a natural matriculation in our evolution, right? Coming to enlightenment. I feel like Black people go through that woke, angry stage for a while. And then we continue to elevate and we find out that it's not really about that all the time. So what were your thoughts, Q? Break it down on me. Tell me what you think. And I'm gonna tell you what I think as well.
It was hilarious, like, just to, because our people just don't take anything seriously. like like, we could laugh at funerals, right?
Right. That's right.
But it also showed how creative we were, because
Yes.
there was a lot of creative, funny content, like
Hmm.
relatable, factual
Yes.
content. But they
Yes.
noticed Harriet's name was on the boat, like, so, like, and, um, but but what I would say, I wish you would have asked me this before, because I could have prepared myself, because I've had a
Oh.
lot of downloads about it. It's like, that's nice, but I feel like they're just looking at us like animals. You know, again, we've always taken the higher road, right? We took care of their babies during slavery as
That's
if they
right.
were our own, nursed
That's
them.
right.
So it's not in our actual nature to be that malicious. We just have generations and generations of built up anger in
Mm-hmm.
our DNA, like
Mm-hmm.
in our energetic, biological, spiritual makeup.
Right.
And it's like, I just feel like it was really misplaced and misused that day because we are so much more than that.
That's right.
And it's like, yeah, somebody helped him, but again, that anger and that rage, like, it's nothing new to us because it's in us. So it could have been anybody. I feel like they would have jumped in and fought. I don't think it
Absolutely.
was. I don't
Yeah.
think it was about that. You know, it's
Yeah.
like, yeah, it's like black people are angry and finally we're rising up. No, because in that same week with the Montgomery Ball, I don't know if you know Kai. He's a influencer. He's a Twitch streamer
Mm-mm.
on YouTube, and the kids know him. He
I have to
plays
check him
video
out.
games, right? So what he did was he said that he was going to have a giveaway for his fans. Meet him in New York City. He's giving out PlayStations, gift cards, all of that,
Mm-hmm.
and he told all his followers. He shut New York City down. Like there was a big riot that
I
same week.
saw that. Yeah, I
Mhm.
did see that. They were all over the place, Q.
Yeah. So for me, my message that I received that week from seeing Kai and then seeing the Montgomery Ball is like, we are much more powerful than we believe
Absolutely.
because this young kid like shut it down. Like he did a Trump. He did what Trump did for the White House. Like not intentionally. I don't think he was, that intentional about it. I don't think he realized how
Right.
much influence he truly had. But for
Right.
that to happen and then see all that energy with the Montgomery Borough, it's like if we really want to shut shit down, we could
Yes.
shut shit down. And then not too far after that, I had seen a clip with Malcolm X just basically saying that no one can fix the Negroes' problems but us. We are the only ones. So if we're waiting for someone to pass a law, just do whatever, it's not going to happen. It has to be taken. It has to be taken by force. So we live in a country where they believe in war, right? They fighting for everything. They sending
Mm-hmm.
troops over. Black people are signing up to fight over
Mm-hmm.
oil, invading country. Like we just have a lot going on.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, listen, if the black man is willing to sign up for the army to do that, then we got these people over here ready to bang white women in the head with chairs
Mm-hmm.
over a boat being docked. Like we have so many more issues, right? Then we have
Mm-hmm.
Kai ready to tell people to come out and get a free PlayStation, like with an incentive. Like we need to like reprioritize and really put something together because there's a lot that we can do with just the click of a button in
Right.
social media. So that was my perspective on it. I feel like it was not cute. It wasn't cute. Like that's not how I want to be represented like an animal. I mean, because if you look at how it happened, the fight was over, and then the people that got off the boat came and popped off again.
They
Like
did.
y'all were all drunk, y'all were all angry.
They
Like
did.
things could have been done differently. And it's
Mm-hmm.
like if you guys really want to rise up against something, like organize it
Mm-hmm.
and then go burn the fucking White House down. It's like do some other shit. Like don't go
Yeah.
be you
Right.
know, go
Yeah.
go free. What did I say? If I rule the world, I free all my sons, like him and Lauren. So why don't y'all go do what y'all gotta do and go break our brothers out of prison or fight injustice or do whatever? Because y'all clearly about that life. Somebody's about that life. Y'all are with the shits to scrap. So go do it for something
Absolutely.
that matters. Not a boat being docked and then the captain getting. I mean, what happened to him is valid. It's not okay.
Right.
But there's just it's bigger than Nino Brown. Like
This is big business.
this
No.
is right.
Right. No, Q, you stole my thunder. You're absolutely right. But I like one thing I like that you said before I tell you my perspective. Black people looking for somebody to save us. It's not gonna happen. And that goes full cipher with what you said about, being once you connected into your feminine divinity, you were able to get a lot done. I think if black people start looking for the God in self, then they would have your mentality, Q. They would say, look, I don't need anybody to stand in my way. There is no there is no obstacle except myself, right? I love that about martial arts and Bruce Lee. He always reminds me of that, right? There is no real enemy. It's just you and your mind. And Q, you know how I feel. I think you said it. It reminds me, I was thinking before this interview, I was like, damn, how do I want to break this down? It reminds me of the kid who comes home and says, look, mom, I got an AMPE. Now the kid got F's and everything else, but they got an A and PE. So you're like, yo, that's good that you got an A in physical ed. You know what I mean? Like you're doing well in that area. But how about you put a little bit more emphasis and a little bit more focus and energy onto the other subjects? Because if you do that, maybe you'll see your reality start to change. If Black people put the energy into other things beside hostility, right? Not to say that we always do. It's in us, like you said, Q, but not to say that that's the only thing we put our energy to. But it seems like that's the only thing getting the attention was the fight. Man, we came together and whooped them. And it's like you said, it could have been probably anybody. It didn't matter that it was some white people. It would have been, if it would have been opposing sets, it could have been possibly the same thing. But my thing is, put that energy into other things, other disciplines, building up banks, building up our children, policing our own neighborhoods, right? Um, Things that will build up our nation within the nation. We should have that same type of zeal where we'll swim across a swamp filled, alligator filled river to help. We should have that same zeal to come help Q on the Relentless Society, on the Lead with Logic podcast, to enhance Black media so that we can start telling our stories. I thought that, like you said, it was misrepresented and people missed the point. You know what I mean? Like they really missed the message. And then I also thought we got kind of excessive when the woman got hit. Everybody was saying, "Oh, they do it to us." Well, then they do, but if we're gonna justify that, then we can't really holler when our kids get shot over technicalities, right? When we see our women getting beat up for no reason, we can't say anything. You know what I mean? Because if their line of logic is what we're expressing, then hey, we're gonna give it to them because them Black women are savage and bed wenches anyway. You know what I mean? Like, so I'm with you, Q. I thought that I they kind of brought it on themselves when they beat him up. I mean, karma, you know what I'm saying? Karma is something else. Like they, hey, you deserve that. And they got arrested. But at the same time, let's not overemphasize or focus on that superficial area. The unity is necessary in all aspects, but we need to put that zeal and energy toward other aspects of Black life because, we want to go forward, you know, uh, positively and progressively. So,
Exactly.
another thing, Q, I'm sorry. Another thing. And we were talking, and I said, I'm gonna ask you about this. Donald Trump and Donald Trump and you don't have to, they say you don't talk about religion and politics. So if you don't want to answer, it's all good. Your take on the Trump indictment or the proposed indictment, here in Atlanta. I think the prosecutor is from Atlanta and she's trying to hit him with a RICO charge. And I think it's like 18 other co-defendants that he has. What is your take on that? And what is your insight? Why do you think that's happening? Why, you know what I'm saying? What do you make of it?
Okay, I'm not a politics person.
Okay.
But I mean, you really feel like Trump is gonna get it's just to distract us from something else, right? That's one. It's always a distraction because Trump is not fucking going down for no RICO charge.
No.
Like,
Thank you.
what are they doing?
Thank you,
Like,
Q.
still,
Thank you.
like, so why are y'all even trying to be funny?
Yeah.
Who's really taking this seriously? These lawyers that are wasting their time to prosecute him, if y'all have nothing else better to do, why don't y'all an innocent man that's like that can't afford a lawyer or something? Like Trump is not going down. It's just absurd and it's a circus. And he's probably enjoying all of this because we all know that he loves attention.
He does.
Good
Master
or bad.
marketer. Yes.
Right. So this is gonna do wonders for his career, like especially if he gets elected again in 2024, because you're just building up his fan base. Like low key, I feel like he was elected into office and people were against him.
Mm-hmm.
Not really so much of who he was, but what he brought out in America. Like you really got to see who really who was laying dorsal and came to life, like, the racism and just a bunch of ugly things. And it's not really a representation of his beliefs. Like Trump cares about money, period.
That's
That's
it.
it. That's all. Like, so
That's
if
it.
it's making America poor, like you gotta go. You gotta
Mhm.
go, you gotta go, you and your babies, build that wall, do whatever, right? That was how I felt about him. But there was so many people that supported that had just like a lot, just came from a very low place,
Yes.
because it helped support their hatred and anger from lack of understanding and wanting to have other people in this country that didn't look like them. Like,
Mhm, mhm.
and that's what people see when they see him. It's like, listen, he's not a racist. But my point is, there's more of them. So now
Mhm.
that you have him being indicted, people like, yeah, like you just gonna make people love him more and
Right.
rock with him more. And he's gonna get more votes. So are y'all for Trump? The people that are sitting here indicted him, are y'all for Trump? Because y'all are just increasing his fan base. Like, look
Right.
what he did to the White House when he got voted out, or whatever happened. Like, there are people that fuck with him. So y'all
That's
just
right.
making us rock with him more. So even if you did look, how about now everybody that beat a RICO charge or got indicted with a RICO charge, whatever, they rock on him because they weren't even Trump supporters before. But now, just
Mhm.
like that word, because that's what the trappers get like hit with. Like, that's like a
That's right. Yeah. Yeah.
right now. So now Trump is for the streets too.
Yeah. That's
So,
right. That's
yeah,
right. No.
I just like they're building his fan base. That's what I think, and it's just it's a hidden agenda. So we might have Trump for president in 2024
See,
because of this.
look, I was saying that they were what they were doing was trying to prohibit him from being elected by giving him all this negative press, all this negative attention. But you're right; it might actually backfire because I think that I have to look and see what the approval rating is for Joe Biden. But I would imagine it's relatively low. I think Mike Pence, last time I read, he's trying to run. So I think, in my mind, I think that it's a distraction, like you said. I'm thinking that they're trying to ensure that he doesn't, that he's at least, because you said it, Q, he's not going down for a RICO charge. That's crazy. And I wouldn't even want to be that prosecutor that would have to charge him. That's a joke. But I think that they're thinking, okay, if we can at least just stall him out, you know what I'm saying, Q? Because we're coming up on election. So if we can at least just put that negative shadow, that negative tint over him, he'll be prohibited from running. We'll get Pence. We'll take Pence as long as it's not him. Anybody, that was why a lot of people voted for Biden. Remember, they were like, they literally were saying, I don't want Trump. That's the only reason I'm going to vote for Biden. I don't have any platform or policy issues that Biden is dealing with. I just know that Trump is not the guy. And I feel like it's just a continuation of that. They really don't want Trump to win again. And so it's like you said, they're going to distract you. And what you're saying, I didn't even consider. It could be that it works in the reverse. And that happens at times, right? You try to push a person away, opposites attract. So you're saying this is the opposite of what we want. And they're looking like, well, we got Joe Biden here. He hadn't been doing the best job. Why not Trump again? You know what I'm saying? Trump or die, trap or die. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, man. So yeah. Um, Q, I think we are about at our time. I'm glad you came on. And Q, could you we noticed, the people noticed that you are rocking a nice Lead with Logic t-shirt. Q, you are on it. Does it
And
feel
it
good?
feels good. Thank you. Thank you.
Does it? It feels good?
Mhm. I'm very simple but particular about what I wear. So
Yes.
it speaks volumes that I'm wearing it. It feels
Yes.
good. It flows nicely. So thank you.
It does. I see.
And
Is that the infinity sign you got on, Q?
yes. Hmm.
Yo, it's dope. It's bomb. Q, please, please, please tell the audience where they can find you. What's your next event that you're going to be hosting, so that the people can jump into your community and get with you and stay connected.
Okay. So you can find me on Instagram. More than you can find me on my phone, right? But my Instagram is at QT Relentless. I'm on TikTok at QT Relentless. My podcast is Relentless Friends with Q on all platforms. So it's YouTube. And if you want to become a part of my community, where I'm going to be hosting live energy healing sessions via breathwork, you can go to qtrelentless.com as well. So the new program I'm working on is going to be for single women
Mhm.
that are ready to switch it up and take that next leap into celibacy just to begin having healthier relationships. Maybe they are not feeling happy about the relationships that they've been attracting, or even the relationships that they may have with their kids. It doesn't always have to be romantic, but just to help create healthier sexual patterns and a relationship with self first before they go out back into the dating world.
Healthier sex patterns, and also with the children. Q, this has been a treat. Thank you for you made history, Q. You were the first interview on the Leave of Logic podcast. Q, please tell me that you won't be a stranger and that you will come back as you have more events. And you'll come back and talk to me and we'll discuss different things. See, now we know you, Q. Now when you come back, we're gonna have you come back with what you got going on, and maybe we can bring some more people on and we break some other things down. And you said your podcast, so hopefully maybe I can jump on your podcast
I
and
would
talk
love
to
to
you.
have you.
Yes, yes, yes. Listen, y'all, thank you for tuning in. I hope y'all like the setup. Y'all make sure y'all follow my sister Q. Y'all tune in for the next Lead with Logic podcast, and as I always say, may we meet again in the light of understanding. Peace, y'all.
Peace, y'all.